I've been missing in action, not to be confused with the Mission in Action movie with Chuck Norris, but just like Chuck Norris, I've been up to some epic stuff. And saying my name 3 times will bring you good fortune too. There was like a decade of funny fake facts that celebrated Norris. In honor of that, let me mix at least 2 truths and a lie about the legend in question. He almost died in childbirth. He mastered Korean karate while in the Air Force. And he likes meat so rare that he only eats unicorns. My favorite Chuck Norris movie? Lone Wolf McQuade.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers podcast.
Travel spacecraft featured a distant planet where most of the action took place. And basically, all the cinema news that you can find on it, they all agree that that's so true. So we'll believe it, whatever. Idris Elba, he's in early talks to play Man-at-Arms in Amazon and Mattel's live-action He-Man Masters of the Universe movie. Been waiting for this new live-action Masters of the Universe for, 25 years? We've been waiting a long time, guys! Where is it? Are we finally getting it? Maybe. Amazon might be pulling it. For all the fanboys, fangirls, fan things, fan whatever you are, they're gonna finally drop this Master Man-at-Arms. Alright? Man-at-Arms, Idris Elba. That's a good casting. I'm excited for that. Super excited. You might hear some dune buggies in the background. I don't know. I'm recording near Raceland, I guess. We'll find out. Who knows? Anyway. William H. Macy also joins Thomas Jane and Armie Hammer in his glorious return in a western, Frontier Crucible. They're filming that right now in good old Arizona. We've arrived at trivia time for tonight's movie. Talking about Gold from 2016, because the Gold in 2018 is a completely different movie, alright? Alright, so Gold is about Kenny Wells. He's a prospector desperate for a lucky break. He teams up with a similarly eager geologist and sets off on a journey to find gold in an uncharted jungle inside of Indonesia. In Indonesia. Matthew McConaughey shaved his head, gained 45 pounds, and wore false teeth to make himself even uglier than usual for the character of Kenny Wells. He claimed he gained the weight by eating cheeseburgers and drinking lots of beer and milkshakes. What's funny about that is the character loves cheeseburgers too, because at one point the character Kenny Wells, I think, is quoted as saying something like, "The man who invented hamburgers is great, but the man who invented cheeseburgers is a genius." Alright, during an interview on ESPN's First Take, Matthew McConaughey claimed that this was his favorite role he has ever done. Now, this quote and this episode of ESPN First Take, I looked up the research. I tried to look up when did he appear on First Take. How long ago was that? About 7 years ago. So maybe this movie isn't his current favorite, but at the time it was well endorsed by its star. Gold is based on the Brie X scandal in the 90s. Brie X was a Canadian company. The bar where Kenny Wells and his company hang out is called the Three Greenhorns. This is actually the name of a real restaurant, not a bar, in Vancouver, BC, Canada. The Three Greenhorns were famously 3 of the earliest homesteaders in Vancouver. Although the company has been moved to Nevada, the writers decided to keep the name of the restaurant. The filmmakers do claim this is not about Break X, but it seems to be so. And, I remember reading articles about this because I love this movie so much. I wanted to know more about, was there a mining scandal? Was this thing real? Did this happen? And, the geologist may have faked his own death. Reportedly, he was thrown out of a helicopter by some cartel baddies or something like that, or some people he owed money to. But then they're there's these weird reports that during the autopsy, they're well, we can't confirm it's him. There was another body that disappeared from the local morgue in this village or whatever. So unconfirmed whether or not the geologist escaped the scandal or did die. But then gold samples were tampered with to report higher levels of gold deposits found. And then the founder of BreakX, like, he might have received a note from this supposedly dead geologist. Don't know whether or not they had side money or they had kept some money from the company going bankrupt and this whole scandal erupting around them, but he goes to the Bahamas. Most former CEOs don't go to the Bahamas unless they can cash checks or they got a stack of cash somewhere that can't be traced or whatever. Well, however they do that big business type deals, right? Anyway, but he did get attacked at his home too. Like, people were still coming after him because of all this stuff. But then, like, he didn't get killed in, like, this crazy hostage thing that happened over this middle of the night attack or whatever happened to him. He actually just died later of a brain aneurysm, which is almost, you could almost say, is natural. I don't know. Is that comeuppance? Is that karma? Who knows? Is that God pushing the button down going, oh, I got you. You know, you swindled all this money and then I got you. Who knows? All right, here's the cast highlights. Obviously, Matthew McConaughey. I think I've said his name like 3 times already. Playing Kenny Wells, the star of the show. Bryce Dallas Howard. Edgar Ramirez. Adam LaFavor. Craig T. Nelson. Stacy Keach. I'm missing a lot of the cast. Oh, it has Bill Camp as well. I might be missing out because it's like an ensemble cast. Like, there's a bunch of, obviously, because it's a mining company, and they have divisions like engineering, prospecting, their science division, but they also have, like, Kenny and his friends are basically all salespeople. So the whole cast of the salesman group that he has and his core group of people are all pretty interesting in the cast. So if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I apologize. You're all great in this movie. All right, we'll be right back to our favorite bits from Gold right after these messages. Tonight's messages. Let's see who brought you the podcast. Let's find out. The NordVPN service allows you to connect to 6,230 plus servers in 110 plus countries. It secures your internet data with military-grade encryption, ensures your web activity remains private, and helps bypass geographic content restrictions online. Grab our link and you can watch Brazilian Netflix, English Netflix, Japanese Netflix, huh? Let's go see what their Netflix is hiding. Anyway, I use NordVPN because there's just porn I want to watch that doesn't involve you, and I don't want you to know about it. No, just kidding. No, we do use NordVPN. I recommend if you're a big internet browser or you're an internet person and you want to keep your stuff private, try out NordVPN. We got a link. Grab it. It'll be in the show notes. It'll be in the sci-fi links. No, I meant to say Spotify, but I got sci-fi in the brain, I guess, because of the headlines that we talked about earlier tonight. Anyway, grab the link. It'll be there. Merry Ballmas from our friends over at Manscaped. Ladies, the holidays are approaching, and what if I told you the perfect gift does exist? Santa's helpers have been working hard to bring you Manscaped's brand new Performance Package 5 Ultra for the man in your life. Who doesn't love the gift of the smooth balls? Featuring the new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Ball Trimmer. Watch all his wishes and mistletoe kisses come true. The perfect mix of naughty and nice. Go to manscaped.com and use code BWPOD for 20% off, plus free shipping. Get like Santa and slay the holidays this year with Manscaped. Again, use our code BWPOD. It's a superior code. Don't trust anybody else's codes. Forget all the other podcasters that are telling you about Manscaped. Just Manscaped with us. BWPOD 25, or I almost said 25. No, 20% off with the free shipping. That's almost like getting a better deal than 20% off. Get that free shipping and 20% off with code BWPOD. I actually have to escape my man. I got to do some manscaping. I'm a little behind schedule. You know, I mean, it's Christmas tree season and I got a Christmas tree. It's time to manscape. All right, moving on. Back to the show already in progress with our favorite bits from Gold. You know, I have this romantic fantasy that toiling around in the earth for treasure is like just naturally attracted to me to like mining stories, right? There's also something about like losing a fortune and then finding your way to thrive and succeed in the chaos of modern world is like also, in this modern world is also like admirable. I'm reading my notes back. I'm trying to make them sound natural. I'm talking too fast. Let me take a drink and slow down. What I was trying to say is one of my favorite bits is how Kenny loses his fortune, but then finds a way to thrive and succeed in what would be the chaos, comparatively, of the modern world that we live in, and I find that admirable. I like when Kenny Wells has like blind faith in himself. And that's basically what hope breaks down to. You know, all is lost, but your mental fortitude is going to prevail if you don't lose your shit. That's in any situation, folks. If you don't lose your shit, your mental fortitude or your state of mind is going to get you through whatever the fuck is going on in your life, right? Or the holiday season, or dealing with friends and family, judgmental folks outside of relationships, whatever is going on, right? It's funny too. It's like, how do your friends and family get so judgmental in the first place when they're telling you how to run your life? But guess what? Their entire house is burning down. Take care of your own shit and back off. Happy holidays, folks, right? If you're dealing with friends and family, just keep your shit together. All right. Speaking of relationships, I like the relationship stuff between Kenny Wells and the character Kay, which is the girlfriend, fiance, wife. They show you the progression, because this story takes place over a few years, maybe longer, I don't know. And the relationship stuff between Matthew McConaughey and Bryce Dallas Howard, I used to think that her middle name was Dylan for some reason, but anyway, maybe it's Dallas. Anyway, she's Ron Howard's daughter, who became an actor as well. Anyway, the relationship stuff between the two of them, their chemistry is palpable. It seems very real between the characters, and it's ultimately beyond relatable. It's like, it just seems not forced. It seems like they didn't have to work hard. Like, they weren't going to work that day to convince you that they were a man and wife with problems. They were just showing you an everyday man and wife documentary, fly on the wall, cinema verite style, and I can appreciate that shit. All right, and the friendship with the maverick geologist and Kenny Wells, the minor prospector, entrepreneur, dreamer. Anyway, their friendship that develops as the business partnership grows is pretty cool too. I also love that he gets back at the doubters, right? That couldn't recognize his ambition, didn't support his ambition. And like, it's funny, like, in situations like that, everybody thinks you're a fool until you prove them wrong. And that's kind of what's happening in the movie. Also, the scandal. I mean, I kind of feel like, oh, well, I mean, this is a money-driven world. And so it deserves to have some keen-eyed individuals find loopholes to get ahead and survive this crazy system that we have set up for humans. Like, we shouldn't really get that mad at the Wolves of Wall Street, right? Or the Kenny Wells prospectors looking for gold in every nook and cranny. And then, like, even if the epitome comes out to be like a financial scandal and ruin or whatever, and it takes some millions away from millionaires that already had millions, who knows? And my whole thing about money is I love it, hate it. It's a love-hate catch-22 thing. I mean, the whole world operates around it. We have to be part of that system. And we all just want to break away and break free. And so when you see, like, another human have a moment, you got to cheer them on. You can't take them down. You got to cheer them on. You know, we shouldn't get mad at them. It's kind of like, be a wolf. And it's going to take 9 or 10 dogs to bring you down. And if one of those dogs doesn't have enough stomach for it, they're not going to be able to bring you down. So be a wolf in your life. Don't be a dog. Be a wolf. Be out there like a lone wolf, knowing that it's going to take weak-willed sheepdogs, a pack of them, to take you down, and you stand alone, buddy. Right? Brethren, sisters, brothers, sisters, mothers, daughters, fathers, sons, whoever you are, individuals, be a wolf, man, in your life. Be a wolf. Anyway, how do I rate things on this show? Well, if you tuned in the past, you know we like to do this patented rating system that we came up with for the binge watchers out there. We like to do this thing called binge now, binge later, binge never. How it works, if you want to play along, is binge now means you got to watch this movie right now, get to it, put it at the top of your list. Binge later is, yeah, add it to the playlist, but you don't have to watch it right now. It's good, but get around to it eventually when you watch 3 or 4 other things, like the original Masters of the Universe movie, or I was talking about wolves, go watch a werewolf movie, whatever you got on your list, add gold to it, right? And then binge never is you can't get it back. It's like the toxic relationship version of a movie experience. You've wasted the time. You can't get your life back. 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3.5 hours. The Hobbit making dishes for an hour and a half and singing about it. You can't get that time back. So that would be a binge never. How do I rate? Where does gold fall on this scale? Binge now, binge later, binge never. This is a binge now. I've heralded this movie for a long time. And again, it's about the performances. It's about the story. If you're looking for feel-gooder movies, for a month of feel-good stuff to make you feel better, you're depressed, you're working hard, and you feel like you're not earning anything from it, you need something to pick you up. What's the movie that's going to pick you up this month? Gold can do it for you, man. All right. moving on. What are the fans doing? Fan service. Well, I'd let you nerds know that the bloggers, the newsies, the critics, and the general public had previously said that Joaquin Phoenix was to blame for the Joker 2's failure. And then Stacy16 chimed in and said, well, he's an incredible actor. If the movie flopped, I'd argue it either is the writer's or the director's fault. But then she goes on to say, I haven't seen the movie, though. All right, then keep your trap shut, lady. Just kidding. That comes off as sexist. Keep your trap shut, Stacy16. I don't know what you are. I shouldn't have said lady, and I shouldn't have been disrespectful, but I'm just trying to joke along what the fans are doing. You know what I'm saying? It's a joke. Get over it. Moving on. We were discussing early Jack Nicholson movies like Five Easy Pieces and his Corman days, on Roger Corman movies. Not the Czar chimed in with this trivia. Nicholson had appeared on some Andy Griffith episodes as well. Nice guy. Thanks for that tidbit, Not the Czar. Also, Stacy16 thanks you for your strong Joaquin Phoenix opinion, even though you haven't seen the movie Joker 2. Chime in later on a different movie, or go watch Gold and tell us what you think of that one, huh? Alright, staff picks. If I'm watching something besides the movie of the week that I want to recommend because you have no interest in Gold, what can you do? How about The Franchise on Max? It's a show about managing the chaos on a superhero movie set. It combines workplace comedy with the high-pressure world of blockbuster filmmaking. It's basically a satire of all the Warner Brother DC movies, all the Marvel movies. The superhero genre is getting twisted in this thing. It actually has Richard Grant, great British actor, the classically trained kind. He's in Withnail and I. That's probably his best movie. But anyway, he actually was in Marvel's Loki as playing one of those Lokis. But anyway, he's in there. Hamish Patel, who was the star of Yesterday, which is one of my favorite movies, he's actually the lead in this as the assistant director who's trying to reign control of the chaos on the movie set. Jessica Hines was another funny accolade from the BBC. She's on a sitcom stuff. I think she has some connection to the Shaun of the Dead filmmakers. She might be featured in there. She might have been the girl who wasn't Spaced. I don't know. I'm probably going to get crucified if I say she was in the Spaced BBC sitcom, and she actually isn't. But anyway, I know she has comedy chops. She's been in a lot of comedies, and I think she's from England. So look into her IMDb. I don't know. Daniel Bruhl, he's actually in Marvel movies too. He plays like Zemo. Doesn't he play like Baron Zemo? One of the villains in one of the Captain America's Civil War, I think. He's also in a sci-fi movie. He's in one of the Cloverfield movies and some other stuff. I mean, he's a good actor too. It's funny, they got seriously dramatic actors to be in this comedy, which is great. Aya Cash, though, from The Boys, she played that Nazi superhero villain chick. She's in this, and she's also in a show called You're the Worst Ever? Is that the name of it or whatever? I think she's like a publicist for a rapper, and she meets a depressed English writer, and they have like a on-again, off-again relationship for 5 seasons. But anyway, Aya Cash is in this, or yeah, I think it's Aya Cash. AYA. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. Kill me. What are you gonna do? Billy Magnuson, who's actually from the Get Shorty show. I don't know if you saw that. Another skewer of Hollywood stuff. But he's funny. He's like what would be like a leading Brad Pitt type, but he's always in comedies. He has a pretty good sense of humor, but he looks like a chiseled Adonis type actor. But anyway, he's in here. He's playing the guy stuck doing whatever their superhero is within the franchise. It's called Tecto. He's a guy with a hammer or something. Not Thor's hammer, but he has a jackhammer, literally like a construction worker or whatever. Anyway, so check it out. The franchise. It's been pretty entertaining. 1 season so far. I think they're into 6 or 7 episodes. So you haven't seen it, take a look at it. Well, it's about that time again. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Until next time, feel good today. All right? I was going to close the Feel Gooders on a couple other movies, but I'm going to actually just close this season of Feel Gooders with this one. It's not going to get any better than Brewster's Millions, and we started the Feel Gooders for 2024. I just dated the whole season. This is timeless. Anyway, this group of Feel Gooders, the block of Feel Good episodes we just did, started with Brewster's Millions, and it could end there. You only need one. You don't need any more than that. But we did this. We did Gold. But I would like to recommend that you also watch The Wood. It's a coming-of-age story. I give that a binge now. And Hook, the Peter Pan midlife crisis family fantasy with Julia Roberts, Robin Williams as Peter Pan, Dustin Hoffman as Hook, Bob Hoskins as Smee, and of course, Rufio, played by Dante Basco. Binge-Now. Binge-Now Hook, obviously. Those are two other feel-gooders. If you want to fill up on feel-good movies this month, go and take a look at. Let's run the list back. Brewster's Millions, Gold. You can also add The Wood and Hook to your list. We have a great time. Right. Like I said, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here until next time. Bye-bye. I don't know what to say after that. It's kind of awkward. I had said the ending twice, and then I lingered on. Anyway, I'll spoil some movies next week for you, I promise. Come back.